Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to join this session. I'm Joyce Ochoa Danso, and I'm very excited to be here today. So, we're talking about women empowerment, and I am going to share my experiences with you throughout my career journey and run you through the challenges that I faced and how I overcame them. I first want to talk about women being assertive. Um, I discovered that growing up, there was this narrative that as a woman, you need to be calm, you need to be soft, and you need to be more collected when it comes to your words and your speeches. And I have a very heavy voice. Maybe this video is doing a little justice to me, so you can't realize that, and I'm happy if that's the case. And so as a result of that, oftentimes I came across as being more strong and tougher when I'm speaking. And a lot of men would tell me that I should be more calmer. Even some women did. And as a result of taking this advice more seriously, I became very reserved. And so when speaking to people, I'm very mindful of the words I use. I'm very mindful of how I sound, and I want to sound more calmer. And I was told that as a woman, you should be, softer. All these things got into me a lot. And so in my first job, I discovered that I wasn't as strong as I was supposed to be. I was given a managerial role in one of the telecommunications companies in Ghana, and there was a youth programs role. And coming right after school, it suggested that I needed to be more tougher because I was managing a huge budget, I was managing major projects, and I was working with young people. And I was part of the management team that I had to make decisions concerning critical issues. But I discovered that within my early stages in the organization, I wasn't as outspoken as I was supposed to be, and I wasn't equally assertive. And as a result of that, I couldn't voice out when I had issues. So I had a boss who was called Yemi Lawal. She was like the regional director for the entire organization, Vodafone Africom. And Vodafone Africom had a branch in Ghana that was Busy Ghana. So that was the company I was working with. And Vodafone Africom, I don't think is existing anymore, but I was very excited that she came in and she provided me with a lot of mentorship support that I needed at that point in time. She said, Joyce, you need to speak up for yourself and you need to stand up and voice out. You need to have a voice and be identified with something. And these words stuck with me. Have a voice and be identified with something. I discovered that I didn't have a voice. I had an opportunity, but I didn't have a voice. And I was not speaking for anything. I was just speaking basically anything that comes in mind, right? And that is one area of empowerment I want us to bear in mind as women. We need to be able to be assertive. We need to have a voice. We need to speak for something. Enough of us agreeing with everything that people say in a meeting. Sometimes you have opinions. You need to be able to speak up. We need to speak with confidence. We need to stand and appreciate, be happy about our ideas that we bring up, as well as be appreciative of other people's ideas. But when we disagree, we need to be able to explain that with confidence. What I discovered from what she also said was that being assertive did not mean that I should not speak with wisdom. There's a thin line between courage and wisdom, right? You need to be able to speak courageously or assertively, but it should come along with wisdom. And what you are saying should make impact and should be meaningful. There's a book that says nice girls don't get the corner office, and it's just basically trying to tell us that as women we need to be able to stand up for something, like be assertive. And that is one thing I would want to leave you with. The second has to do with the fact that we need to also be empowered economically. In my first job after national service, I was earning a very good salary, I must say, for a graduate who had come out from school. And I wasn't saving within the first 2 months' salary. As at that time, when I checked my account, I couldn't even have the confidence to check my account. So if I checked it, I often left, the ATM machine with a lot of sadness because I hadn't saved anything. And the company was providing lunch. They were giving me data. They were giving me airtime. And so I didn't have an excuse not to save. I probably was spending around 2 cedi on transportation fare in and out because I was living close by. So then why was I not being able to save? It suggested that I either was making the wrong decisions or I was just spending money anyhow because I now had the means to do so. And there was a lady in the office called Na who called me one day and said, Joyce, I want to talk to you. Um, you are young and I need you to take advantage of this job and save. So when she said it, just dawned on me, I haven't done that. So I rushed to the nearest Fidelity office, which was just opposite the organization, the company, and went to register for a flip account, and I had an investment account then. So I started transferring the money directly from my savings account to from my savings account to the investment account. What this taught me was that, as women, we need to bear in mind that there is nothing like job security. We are our own security. And even for the men, that we can lose a job today that you have worked hard for, and you can wake up and there is no job. Now there's COVID-19 and a lot of people have lost their jobs. And so we always need to be prepared. And if you don't have economic empowerment, you realize that you're always lagging behind. And the things that you want to do, you always have to postpone them. And the years go by and you see your life wasting away. And so we owe it to ourselves a huge responsibility to save and invest. And we need to plan ahead. So what are we saving and investing for? We are saving and investing for ourselves, to empower ourselves, to be able to buy the books we want to read, to be able to start the businesses we want to start alongside our work, to be able to venture into major projects, to be able to have certification for the courses that we want to have, to be able to launch a product. All these things are things we save and invest for. And some of us have big dreams, but big dreams start with small steps, and it starts with economic empowerment. If we do not have economic empowerment as women, we begin to be dependent on a lot of people. And sometimes they begin to demand things from us that we can't offer. And as they demand these things, we begin to lose a sense of ourselves and who we are. And we give in freely to their demands. And as we give in freely to these demands, we become weaker by the day. And sometimes we begin to even doubt our own self-worth because we think we haven't worked enough to achieve what we want to achieve. And so this is the second thing I learned. The third has to do with empowering each other. I was so excited. I know a lot of people have reservations when they are working with female bosses. But all my life, after my national service, I worked with female bosses, and they have been phenomenal. They have been very supportive. They've signed me up to courses. They have been giving me the best feedback I can ever get. Some are tough, some are nice. And even in their niceness and in their toughness, I have learned a lot. Women need to support each other. I've worked with a woman called Linda Na, and she was providing me with the best feedback I can ever receive. Some were very tough feedback and criticisms, but they were in good faith. Pearlis Mensa, she gave me the best feedback I could ever get. Elma, all these are people that I look up to, and they mentored me from a distance, and some also in person. And I'm always excited when I talk about women empowering each other because we owe it to ourselves. The opportunities are limited. The research shows that about 70% of women form the world's poor people and are likely to give birth to poor children. And this is a very sad story to share, or a sad research study to even discuss. And it suggests that as women, we owe ourselves a very huge responsibility to put in a lot of effort, to empower each other. Let's share the opportunities we find out for women to other women, for women to other women. Let's share articles that other women can read to empower them. Let's share our businesses on social media platforms for each other. Let's advertise our friends positively to be able to get the best job offers. For me, I believe that if one of my friends, or if any of my female friends, or if any woman is able to get to the top, it means that I am secured of getting to the top as well. Why am I saying this? If we have a female president, it gives me hope that one day I can be a female president too. But if we don't have, then it gives me a lot of restrictions of doubting the probability of being able to serve as a female president, right? For instance, Kofi Annan once served as a UN Secretary General. So it gives me hope that because he was Ghanaian and he was African and he's black, it means that I have every capability to serve as a UN Secretary General, and I don't have an excuse, So all these things give me motivation that we can do something. That is why I always encourage people that we have to try our best to empower each other and make things work. And we are not competing against each other, neither are we competing with each other or competing against men. We are only empowering ourselves to become better versions of who we want to be for the future of this company, of this country, the organizations we work with, and for the future generations to look up to us. Whenever I talk about women empowerment, I often don't want to end without talking to men, because men form the center of women empowerment. it's about time that as men on this platform, you go out there, you have jobs, and you be in senior positions sooner than you think. I want you to bear in mind that do not ever restrict women when it comes to giving opportunities. Bear in mind that there are not some rules that are cut out for women and some rules that are cut out for men. We are quick as men sometimes, I'm not a man, so I'm just generalizing, to assume that women could be the best secretaries. And oftentimes when women are in a board meeting, when it's time for them for food to be shared, you see that the boss will signal the woman to quickly do that. As if the woman cannot contribute. It's like we are quick to identify rules that fit women and rules that fit men. As we all go out there to get jobs or create our own jobs, let's try and give opportunities to women. Let's not assume that because a woman, by the biological clock a woman has, they cannot be good financial managers or chief financial officers, or they cannot be technical officers. Let's not assume. Let's give people opportunities. If we don't give opportunities to people, how are we able to identify that these people can do the best they can? When you give people the chance, they will be able to prove to you beyond reasonable doubt. And we have seen that over and over again. Women are pilots now. They are doing things in the sciences, in STEM. They are doing things in areas that people least expected women to do. So as men, let's learn to give opportunities to women. And as women, whenever we have these opportunities, let's not use our families as an excuse. Let's not use our marriage as an excuse. Let's take up these opportunities with boldness. Research shows that we can multitask. We are powerful biologically and physically. Let's not restrict ourselves and say, how can I do this? Would they even respect me? By virtue of being a woman, you're already respected. And we need to take it upon ourselves to work hard and prove to not anybody but our own selves and our children that they owe it to us. We owe it to them to be able to make them look up to someone. Let's take up challenges with confidence and let's not restrict ourselves. Let's not say that we are not good. I'm tired of women saying that math is not my area. I have been the number one person who used to say that, and I think you could see a lot of women complain about such areas. It's about time we own up to performing well in areas of statistics, math, or taking up responsibilities in very challenging fields that people have always doubted we can do. The status quo is changing, and so we need to join in to change. I would end by talking about issues of sexual harassment and how women can also try and be empowered in these areas. I'm not talking about basically. I want to draw attention to the fact that we need to voice out when issues like that come to being. We need to learn to speak up as women. We need to give some boundaries to men, and men need to respect these boundaries as well. We don't need to encourage and be silent about issues of sexual harassment when we face them in the companies that we are going to work with. We owe it to ourselves and the future generation to speak up, because our silence doesn't do much. It only means that we are in consent, or we are agreeing to such habits. And so we need to learn to voice out early. And if we go out there as women and we have positions in HR, we need to have a listening ear to such issues as well. In the end, I'll say that we've been told 1,000,001 times that silence is golden. But as women, we can't afford to be silent now. Not at this period. Because we need to have a voice. Our voice would be able to create opportunities for 1,001 people. Silence is only golden when you are worth it. So if someone like Michelle Obama is silent about an issue, we crave for her to talk, right? Because her voice would add volumes to an issue, like Bring Back Our Girls campaign. Her voice added volumes. And so we need to create our worth before we are even silent. We can't even afford to be silent now, because the world needs us more than ever, and the whole generation is looking up to us. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.